Hey VC, what's going on? So it's Sunday and it's spring and it's Dereck with the snaggletooth thing going on. Been going to be like this for a while. I'm going to be looking into some, trying to get my tooth fixed. But be like this for a while. My spirits are up. It's, has there been a little bit of grieving over it? Well, sure, but more than that, it's mostly been just dealing with the reality of my own absent-mindedness and neglect. You know what I mean? It's like, I can't blame anyone but myself for this. And, while it can be a blow to the dignity, the main thing it is it's something to deal with other people, because, yesterday, Roger Simonson, who's from Lincoln, came up to town because he had discovered a bookstore with records. And I met him there, and he bought me some. I'm going to show them to you. I had a little money, so I bought a few too. But the way that the owner dealt with me was definitely compromised by the fact that I don't have this tooth, And, we're talking, and Roger's talking, and we're talking about my record collection. And, he's looking at me and talking to me as though I'm just, just some, oh, yeah, sure, you got a record collection that is known about all over the world. Yeah, sure, you ain't got no front teeth. This is what I hear him saying with his expressions. People are so shallow. So shallow. So anyway, I got a bunch of records to show. I don't know if I'll show them all, to be able to show them in one video. But I got some more vinyl community love. People have been very, very, very kind. And all I can say is, it's a testimony. Thank you, people, because I'm just being honestly me, and you all reaching out to me in this way, sending me records, kind words, love. Thank you. So Sammy Kushway is the latest person to send me records. I don't know Sammy. He's someone who I interact with on the internet. He sent me messages saying that I've really helped him find music, and he wanted to give me something, and he gave me some very cool records. So let me show you what he gave me. Make sure I have it all together. Yeah, really nice, really nice. So to start with, he knows that I like Camel, and he'd asked me, did I have everything by Camel? And I said, the one album I need is Stationary Traveler. Bingo. Sammy sends me Stationary Traveler by Camel. Pristine condition. Thank you so much, Sammy. I like this album. It's not my favorite by them. I like the way it starts with an instrumental. I think I really like that, probably the best about this album. Stationary Traveler by Camel. I shake my head, because it's just mind-blowing, And then he sent me this. I didn't realize he picked up on this, while talking on the internet, that I needed this. Parliament Chocolate City. Some records to me are essential, and Parliament Funkadelic is essential. George Clinton is a genius. He's a living legend. And Chocolate City is an album where, how do I put it? It's George Clinton, but he takes it and strips down the funk. And this is just a cool-ass album. Chocolate City, Parliament. This is a reissue. Real happy to have this in the collection. A nice surprise. I had mentioned that Charles Hayward, the drummer from This Heat and Quiet Sun, has become somewhat of a friend online. He'll see some of my socially charged comments, and they resonate with him, and he'll chime in. But Sammy sent me a Charles Hayward album, Trademark Ground. And this is was put out in 2012, it looks like. It's in a limited edition. numbered 300 copies. It's beautiful one-sided album. Isn't that beautiful? The etching is by Charles Hayward. Now, I've listened to most of this, and I really like it. And what I have to say about Charles' singing is because I have in the past been put off by Charles Hayward's singing. It's very naked, very upfront. It's like it's real obvious that singing the songs is important to Charles. And he sings them right out. And I think the songs are also very personal. It's like you have to kind of listen for a minute to figure out, well, what is this about? Why is this important? Beyond that, though, the way that he makes music and the way this is recorded is wonderful. And just a wonderful addition to my collection. Thank you, Sammy. And then he sent this. This is a band I knew nothing about. Kiku Pau Pines. It's a band from Iceland. I like the cover. I like that graphic. And it's on green vinyl. I'll show it. I appreciate finding out about music like this. I appreciate hearing things that maybe I wouldn't hear otherwise. Isn't that nice with the light coming through like that? So, being a record geek, just getting a nice new green vinyl album in a pretty gatefold sleeve, just for that moment of, oh wow, it's worth it for that. But now I listened to this all the way through once so far. I definitely like the instrumental passages. It's interesting this band is from Iceland because it sounds like they're trying to, I guess maybe it would be rural for Iceland, but it's like there's this kind of rural sort of sound, which I don't mind. But it's the more ambient, glacial, spacey parts of the music that I like. So thank you, Sammy. Thank you very much. The records mean a lot. Just a quick aside, because again, I respond to some comments, and I got one comment, I won't say their name, wasn't surprised to see it from a particular person, but the content of that person's intent is completely in the comments. They don't want to help me. And I've worked as a social worker, I've worked with a lot of people that are like that, where their help is not help, it's about them. And it's real obvious to me. So I'm just saying, it's like I'm not, look, my teeth shows you I'm not perfect. I'm a human. I'm fucked up. I didn't take care of my teeth. And so now I look like a gap-toothed idiot. But I'm not standing for somebody looking at me and judging me like they're better than me. Fuck that. No one is. I answer to me, not to anybody else, okay? Got to get that off my chest. Respond if you want to, but that's what I got to say. You can judge me all you want to. I don't give a fuck. Okay. So with that in mind, yesterday, day before yesterday, Roger Simonson, VC member from Lincoln's close to Omaha, had found a bookstore in Omaha that I didn't know about. And on Friday, he showed that he'd come up to Omaha, and he showed me what he found. Several German titles, several ambient titles. I was blown away, And I said, well, great. I'm flat busted, and he's found this new dig spot. Says he's coming up on Saturday. Well, I rummaged around, and I dug up $20, which right now is a lot of money for me, And, I have no business spending it on records, but I did. I could drop dead. That's the other thing about my mind is I got to take care of things, but I could also drop dead at any time. So I'm going to keep living rather than living in mental slavery to, I got to have this and I got to find the money. So it's like I'm stressed out to find money to pay the bill. I'm stressed, but the more important thing is to live. Okay. So I met Roger at this place, and most of the records were water damaged, unfortunately. He had a lot of really good, interesting ambient stuff. Um, so we dug in and we got what we could. I bought things that were water damaged because I don't know if I'll ever see them again. Not that they're expensive, but that it's stuff I've been looking for. So let me share that with you, all right? It was a lovely dig. Roger had his 6-year-old daughter with him, Natalie, who I met for the first time. What a wonderful child. She was very patient, kept herself busy while we dug. It was amazing. It's like, that never happens. You know how children are, especially at that age, 5 and 6. They constantly want your attention. You know, of course, she wanted our attention if we gave it to her. And then once we diverted it back to the records, she made herself busy. It was fantastic. If you see this, Roger, kudos to you for being a good parent. I found several records that I really am happy about. And I'll start with one. I've been wanting this album for years, and I never have seen it for a price that I could afford. Neil Ardley, Kaleidoscope of Rainbows. And this came out in 1975. That's how long I've been wanting this album. Since 1975. I remember the hype about this record when it came out. Ardley is a composer, British composer, who has some background over there. And so there was hype about this. But the hype was real. This is really, really excellent. Touches on jazz, new age. Oh, this is excellent. I was so happy when I saw this. And this was one that isn't too badly damaged. The main water damage on this one is on the back. Neil Ardley. I grabbed this thinking, I think I have this, but it didn't seem right because this is Klaus Schultz Identity Double. And sure enough, I have it, but I have a single album version of this. So I got the double album version of this. Even nicer, it's Innovative Communications, but it's the Italian issue on Bass Records. And Klaus Schultz is someone whose music you can just really just melt into. You know, it's like if I'm not in the mood for it, it comes off quickly. But when I'm in the mood for it, you know, it's like his pieces are very long and they need to be because you just get swept away. This was a great find. I also found another Klaus Schultz. I had actually several. I had most of them already. Transfer. For a minute, Roger was going to get this, and I think he passed on this because there's a little... No, this one's okay. I'm not sure why he decided not to get this one. I'm glad he didn't. Klaus Schultz. And then, most, like I said, new age stuff. So I got The Four Seasons done by Patrick Gleason. Patrick Gleason is the synthesizer guy who worked with Herbie Hancock and got Hancock going on synthesizers. So I love his style. I love his approach to synthesis. This is on Varese Sarabande. This one, I knew I had this on CD, but it's like, I gotta get the record because I love it. Wally Badarou, Words of a Mountain. This one is one that has noticeable water damage on the cover. The record plays fine. This one is I remember this one from Hearts of Space. This is one where a couple times they played the whole album on Hearts of Space because it's so gorgeous, so beautiful. And I absolutely love this album. It's beautiful. Words of a Mountain. Just gorgeous. Wally Badarou. I could have skipped when I saw this. So I went there actually in two phases. I went there in the morning after Roger talked about it the day before. Of course, I'm intrigued even though I'm broke. It's like, fuck, I gotta see what this guy's got. So when I went there in the morning, Roger had cleaned out the new age, and what he had left behind, he only left behind one thing that I got. But I looked in the rest of the store because I thought, well, there's probably other interesting things, and there were. So I bought this, Olinda Carnival Volume 2. this apparently is, I'm sorry about the light, folks, you can't really see too well. But this appears to be music from Brazilian Carnaval. I think it's various artists. It appears that some of these songs are fairly traditional for Carnaval. And I listened enough that I really like this. It's very festive. You can hear this is music of the people. So it's not real exotic, you know what I mean? But it's good, and it's very vibrant. I was really happy to find this. I grabbed that. Earlier in the day, I grabbed this there, History of Jazz. And to be honest with you, the main reason why I got it for everything was $3 a piece, is this label big. And I know that big is not some big special label, and that actually it's probably rather common. At one time, it's probably very common in Europe. But it has a lot of sentimental value to me because of the way that I was introduced to the label, also because of a lot of what's on the label. So when I see big records on the big label, if it's not something real crap, I want to get it. And this is actually good. Pepper Adams and the Stan Getz and Al Khan pieces are particularly nice on here. So I'll finish up with what I got in the morning. So yeah, there wasn't much left. And so this was in perfect condition. I used to have this album in high school, Stephen Stills' Manassas. The album's like in perfect condition as old as it is. And so I thought to myself, 1972, this looks brand new, unplayed. I used to have this album. I like some of it. Most of it, I don't, to be honest. But I like Steve Stills, so I grabbed it. It's in perfect condition. It's like I couldn't leave it behind. And there was another album like that where, well, two more. Well, actually, three more. And I'm not worried. A way will be. I will make a way for myself. I will be all right. You know, I'm flat broke right now, but I'm still moving ahead. I went ahead and bought some records. I'll be fine. And if I'm not, then I'll just die, and then it'll be fine because I'll be dead. This one, I looked at it and I thought to myself, okay, this is probably cheesy. I'm probably not going to like it, but judging by this cover, this may be something to someone. It may be a collector's item. Los Diablos, Mexican pop band. And I looked it up, and I couldn't really find out much about it, so it's probably nondescript. But the cover is very cool. Los Diablos on Musimex Records. And I just popped the needle on, so I haven't really listened to this yet. I may actually find that I like some of this, but I looked at that and I said, ooh, I have to get that. There could be something good. Los Diablos. I grabbed Joe Pass. I remember Charlie Parker. Joe Pass was just one of the greatest guitarists to ever live. He was a junkie bar none. I mean, he'd be so junked out that he'd, be sitting there playing music to make you cry, and he's nodding out. But again, this was in great shape. Beautiful, wonderful music. And I got this, because I've never owned it. And when I see it used, it's always trashed. This is the best shape I've ever seen a cheap copy of, so I bought it. Head, the Monkees. And that's not too bad for $3. Usually they're completely trashed. The record is a little scratchy, but I've never owned the album Head, so now I have it. And I love the Monkees. And then I found something that I already own that I will not trade. This one I will sell. It's a collector's item. There's spine. The spine is torched. I'm not going to tape it, but this is an original. J.K. and Company, Suddenly One Summer. This is psychedelic. The kid was only 16 when he made it. This is a very cool album. You can look on Discogs and Collector's Frenzy. There's copies that go for 100 plus. The record is in excellent condition. So I grabbed this for $3. I'm not going to tape the cover because collectors bitch about it, even though the cover is, the seams are shot. But this is an original of this. It's been reissued. So I'm hoping that I can find a buyer for this, even with the split. I'll be able to flip this, as they say. Flip this for some much needed money. Okay, so Roger pretty much bought the rest of what I have for me. I just can't thank you enough, Roger. Of Beaver and Krause, the electronic duo that helped George Harrison and Stevie Wonder become familiar with the synthesizer. Citadels of Mystery by Bernie Krause. Haven't played this yet, but knowing his background, I don't leave his records behind. Plus, it's an original master recording on mobile fidelity, and it's on virgin vinyl. You hold this up to the light and you can see through it. So, don't have very many original master recordings. Here's now I have another one. They had a few Jan Garbrechts, and thankfully this is a good one because Jan Garbrecht has put out so many records that he has come to the point where it's like, I don't need to hear too much. This one stands out. Wayfarer. And part of what makes this one special or better to my ears is the involvement of Bill Frisell. Jan Garbrecht, Wayfarer on ECM. Fantastic to find this by David Friedman, double image, In Lands I Never Saw. Oh my goodness, how beautiful. On Celestial Harmonies. And I got lucky here. This one is in perfect condition. David Friedman on marimba phone and vibraphone with David Samuels. Just like that photograph. Just beautiful music. I love double image. This one I got because I knew that it would not be something I'm going to want to play a lot, but again, David Bedford is important. David Bedford, Instructions for Angels. And again, this is one that you don't see you just don't see it. Slightly beat, but it's set Virgin label. I actually listened to this and I like this. It's whimsical. That's, I think, is what it's about. Is that there's a lot of it that's kind of lighthearted, but then it gets into the parts where you see why he's a good composer. He was a good composer. So this is a nice find. David Bedford, Instructions for Angels. I love finding stuff like this, that's not run-of-the-mill, but not expensive. Here's one that Roger almost bought and passed on. I said, well, no, it's not going to stay there. Harold Danko, Ink and Water, piano. Again, it goes under the New Age category, but I hate that term. This is just really lovely, contemplative piano playing. The visuals are right for this music. This is beautiful. Here's one that Chris Cole, John Coltrane 68, has talked about. And it's an album that I used to see and never thought anything about, so I never look at it twice. Once he talked about it, I said if I ever see it again, I grabbed it. Good Lord, they had a perfect copy of it yesterday. Laura Allen Reflections with Paul Horn. The cover, the cover just doesn't tell you what's happening here. You might think it's a singer-songwriter, maybe, kind of a moody folk singer. This is wonderful. What does she play on here? She plays the zither, and this is gorgeous, meditative, deep. Chris Cole really is a guru when it comes to music. I know a little bit, but he knows a little more than a little bit. And as much as I have known and can know, I still am learning a lot from Chris. Just amazing, Chris. You're amazing if you see this. You are amazing. Here's another one that Roger decided not to get because of the water damage. And I thought to myself, the hell with that. You don't leave Steve Roach albums. Travelers, Steve Roach. Played this already. Steve Roach is badass. Wonderful. Electronic artist. He does ambient, but he does things like with world music and rhythms. This is wonderful. Real happy about this. These are water damaged, but I've talked about how if I could collect the Made to Measure series, I would, and I found 2 more. This one is Minimal Compact Lowlands Flight, Made to Measure volume number 10. These are excellent. Water damaged like a bitch, unfortunately. But these albums are consistently in the minimal Terry Riley, Philip Glass, Steve Reich vein, and really good. I mean, people really stepped their game up for this series. And then they had this one, Mikkel Rouse, Broken Consort, number 6. Again, water damaged. I'd like to have the entire series. These are excellent. Seriously, wonderful, wonderful music. Okay, just a few more. Again, Roger, thank you so much, because this is just being able to play these records, look at them, browse them, makes life worth living. It does, you know. A little coffee and some records and a good weather. That's fine, you know. I mean, I'd love to go sailing the seas and yachting and partying on Ibiza and all that stuff, which costs a lot of money. But I'll make do with some nice records. This was a mind blower for me to find this, even though it's an American release. I mean, I don't see Yaz Kaz records. The percussionist Yaz Kaz. Yeah, I was real happy to find this. And this is excellent. Egg of Purana. I believe he's Japanese, primarily like Yamashita, a percussionist. Again, water damaged badly on the back. Record plays fine. It's a white label promo. This is wonderful. Wonderful. Yaz Kaz. I live for days like yesterday when I can find some neat records for cheap. Here's another one. Real happy to find this. Rainbow Delta by Patrick Gleason. I think this is his only original. He's made several albums of synthesizer music, but usually covering other things. This is original, and this is really good. Rainbow Delta. The cover tells it. You can tell by the cover this is good. This is good. A few more. Yeah, just a few more. Here's one I took a chance on, and I still have to play it. Sounds like it's going to be bluegrass. I didn't think it would be, but maybe it's going to fool me. Angel Alley by Linda Cohen. Couple reasons why I bought this, and not knowing who Linda Cohen is. It's on Tomato, the cover, and then the involvement of Craig Anderton in the credits. I saw that and I said, well, this has got to be interesting if Craig Anderton is involved, because he's an instrument maker. And I have to really, this might be something really good. The first track on this, it sounds like bluegrass music, which is fine. Another damaged one, but I couldn't leave it. Peter Seiler, Flying Frames, again on Klaus Schultz label. Now this one actually is interesting because the first track, there's a mistake on it. It's an obvious mistake, and they left it. The album, it gets better after that, but it's interesting how it's an obvious mistake because they fix it, but they left the mistake. Interesting. If anyone has this album, play that first track and see if you missed that mistake. It's real obvious now that I mention it. The other album that Roger left the day before that I was able to grab was this Computer Music from the University of Illinois. I always get these. This is computer music played on by a string quartet, but Lejeune Hiller is one of the composers. I like his work a lot, so I couldn't leave this. And the last thing I found, which sadly has a bit of a warp, but I couldn't leave it. You don't see these records for $3. Ashra, Bell Alliance, formerly Ashra Temple. And this mostly plays. It's a little at the beginning, but again, for $3, German import, Ashra, it's going home. Half hour, and it's gone by. Okay. A few days ago when I talked about my records, I got more sales. Let me just keep it going, folks. A lot of you don't have my music, and I've been playing it. Flyover, Murphy, this shit is good. Kleeman, nice. Order. Have it in your collection.